Welcome to the Eden Prairie Planning Commission. The date is Monday, September 23rd. Will everyone please rise for Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Next item on the agenda is the approval for tonight's agenda. Does anyone have any discrepancies or any changes that they need to make? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
A motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Moving forward, we have the approval for the minutes for the September 14th, 2015 meeting. Are there any changes that need to be made? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the agenda.
The minutes.
For the minutes. Yeah.
Second. From the last meeting.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Second? Yep.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on tonight to public hearings. The first public hearing for tonight is the Miller rezoning. The location of the project is 7555 192nd Avenue West. The request is for zoning district change from rural to R1-13.5 on 1.32 acres. And with that, will the proponent of the project please come forward? Tell us a little bit about your project, please. And please also state your name for city record and spell your last name. Thank you.
Thank you. And my name's David Miller. This is my wife, Karen Miller, and we're owners of the property in 755 192nd Avenue. And so the project that we're requesting, it's currently a non-conformational conforming rural lot. And so we currently own the rental home on there, and we're planning on knocking the rental home down and building a single-family private residence for our own personal use on the lot there. So currently, the zoning around the area is the R1 13.5 or the R1 9.5, and so the city planners recommended going north the R13 1.5, so that's why we requested that zoning, which is consistent with the neighborhood around there. So plan is to knock the rental house down, build a single family home, and we're waiting to get final approval before we approve building plans, but estimate of the home size, there should be a graph of our last survey that we had, that the home's going to be about 40 feet deep and 60 to 65 feet in width, which will fit on there. We have no plans to divide the property at this point. We're going to keep it all as one lot, but we're situating the house for potentially many years down the line to leave that open as an option if we ever decide to do that.
Okay.
So that's
Very
it.
good. If we have any other questions, we'll let you know. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Julie, from city staff, would you like to take us through it, please?
Certainly.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chair, members of the Commission, as stated, the request is to rezone the property. The comprehensive plan does guide the property for low-density residential, so the request to rezone to R113.5 is consistent with the comprehensive plan. Staff is recommending approval of the rezoning based upon that criteria. Additionally, I wanted to just speak briefly to the information that was shared in your packet. There was a letter received from a nearby resident that, as you can see in his initial outreach to city staff, had some concerns about increasing density. As the applicant and the staff report state, the request is not to increase density on this lot, but rather just to simply subdivide, demo the existing home, and replace with a new construction. Additionally, the property owner that did the outreach had some concerns about traffic in the area, and the assistant city engineer has been in contact with him over the past several days to answer his questions and point him in the right direction, if you will, on where to get necessary information or do additional outreach on those issues. Those traffic issues are independent of the rezoning request, and staff will follow up as appropriate.
To your knowledge, has there been any other concerns that have come up for the neighborhood or whatever through this project?
Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, that was the only outreach that the staff has received.
Okay, thank you very much. Commissioners, do you have any comments or concerns about this project at all?
Mr. Chairman?
Please.
So the comment that you made about the city engineer's review of traffic in general, has staff looked at the potential subdivided parcel that would be on Highway 101 and confirmed that something could be developed there in the future if the property was to be subdivided in a safe and compliant manner?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, primarily the concerns that were shared by the resident doing the outreach related to speed on Highway 101, parking at the boat landing in the vicinity, and concerns, just generally speaking, that were broader reaching than just the how many access points would be available on this property or traffic patterns of that particular neighborhood. So staff, as I said, is continuing to do outreach with him. As we discussed in the staff report, if the property were to be subdivided in the future, staff would certainly have the opportunity at that point to review the access points, driveway locations, things of that sort. But at this point, that is not what the applicant is requesting approval of. They're simply seeking the rezoning.
Okay. One more question. In the packet, you shared a parks map, and there's a city trail system nearby, but not quite touching this property, leading to Hidden Ponds Park. Happens to be in my neighborhood, so I'm aware of it. And the trail is between homes. I forget what the name of the street is, just east of this parcel. But the trail system heads due west towards Chanhassen, and then right before reaching 101, it ducks between two houses to exit out onto Twilight Trail where it terminates. Is the fact that this parcel was a leftover remnant for so long an impediment to what the city would have desired for a trail continuance all the way to 101 in an effort to connect up to something across the highway in the future to Chanhassen? Or is the terminus of the trail system as it exists now purposeful and there's no reason to want to reconfigure it through the subject parcel when it gets replatted? Sorry for the heavy question.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, with regard to the trail and any potential to revise that trail, if you will, that is something that if the property were to be subdivided in the future, the city would take a look at through the subdivision process. I'm not aware that there is any concern or issue at this point. That's certainly something that staff could research prior to city council review of the rezoning, but I'm not aware of anything at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioners, does anyone else have any questions at all? I'm not seeing anyone out in the audience that would have any objection to this. So with that being said, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to close the public hearing.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And I'd move to recommend approval of the zoning district change from rural to R1 13.5 on 1.32 acres based on the information included in the staff report dated September 25th, 2015.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations. You can move forward with your project.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. The next item on the public hearing is the Wood Springs Suite Signature. The location of that project was 7544 Marketplace Drive. The request was for a planned unit development district review with waivers on 1.66 acres, a zoning district change from office to commercial regional service on 1.66 acres, and a site plan review on 1.66 acres. I understand through city staff that this project has been withdrawn, and I do not believe that there is any other action at this time that needs to be taken. Is that correct, Julie?
Mr. Chair, that is correct.
Okay, so with that being said, we will move right along to planners' reports.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, Metropolitan Council did issue system statements for the upcoming 2018 comprehensive plan. Those were issued last Friday. So if you would like, staff can certainly send out the electronic link to the city, or to the Met Council rather's website, so that you can take a look at the system statement. It is basically a personalized outline of what Eden Prairie will need to review and include within its comprehensive plan update that needs to be submitted by December 31st, 2018. So we're going to kick off the comprehensive review process in the next several months. The system statements are issued to each community individually, as I said, kind of a profile of what that community needs to include, and there is a 60-day appeal period where the city can take a look at that information and file an appeal or concern, if you will, back to the Met Council. And so staff will be taking a look at that and responding accordingly.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I think that would be helpful to get that link.
Yep.
I just have
Go
a
ahead.
question.
Yes, please.
Could you explain for us, Julie, would that process that you just described potentially have purpose for being in the Planning Commission discussion as you work through that, or try to go back to Met Council, or is that entirely a staff-driven process?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, if the staff were to appeal or express some concern with information that's in the system statement, I would expect that that is something that Planning Commission potentially and City Council may want to comment on, or at a minimum, staff would provide information to the policymakers that this is something staff has a concern with, this is why, here's the information we're sharing back to the Met Council.
Thank you very much.
Okay, did you have anything else, Julie, for the planners report?
Nope, that was it.
Okay. Any members' reports for tonight? Okay. Continuing business? Any new business? Now I entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned.